Don't know what to watch after 1923 and Yellowstone? Sheridan has already cooked up a new show called The Madison that's coming soon. Yellowstone left a lot of loose ends. For instance, did Rip ever confront Beth about the abortion that happened when she was just a teenager? Did Casey find peace after walking away from the family ranch? We already know Taylor Sheridan has plans to explore these questions in upcoming spin-offs, but until those arrive, 1923 has kept us fed. Even that show, though, recently wrapped with a gut-wrenching ending as Spencer Dutton lost the love of his life. But what if 1923 ends up being the last time we ever see the Duttons at the center of the Sheridan universe? Well, it's true. Taylor Sheridan's next Montana-based spin-off won't focus on the Duttons. Instead, he's bringing in an entirely new family in a series called The Madison. And if you take a quick look at the cast, it's clear he's been listening to modern-day fans of cowboy culture, especially those asking to see more women at the heart of the ranch. The Madison might just be the biggest series Taylor Sheridan has ever created. Why, you may ask? For starters, the star-studded cast is a clear sign he had a serious budget to play with. Just look at the addition of Michelle Pfeiffer, one of Hollywood's most bankable names. If that's not enough, the cast also includes Lost star Matthew Fox and Suits alum Patrick J. Adams. All signs point to Pfeiffer taking center stage as the Sheridan universe's first leading matriarch, a role that could redefine the future of this franchise. She plays Stacy Clyburn, a newly widowed matriarch who uproots her family from New York City to Montana's Madison River Valley. Fox, taking on the role of a self-reliant bachelor named Paul with a deep love for the outdoors, was initially rumored to be played by Kurt Russell, but it looks like Sheridan had other plans. Alongside Michelle Pfeiffer and Matthew Fox, The Madison brings together a strong supporting cast that hints at the show's family-driven focus. Pfeiffer's on-screen daughters are played by newcomer Elle Chapman as Paige McIntosh and Bo Garrett as Abigail, a recently divorced mother of two. Before I dive deeper into The Madison, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from the Sheridan universe. Trust me, you'll want to be here when the drama kicks off. The cast of The Madison is stacked, with Michelle Pfeiffer and Matthew Fox generating the most buzz. Pfeiffer recently played Betty Ford in Showtime's The First Lady, while Patrick J. Adams is still recognized for his role as Mike Ross on Suits. But for Fox, this marks a real comeback. His last major TV role was over 14 years ago as Jack Shephard in Lost, where he appeared in nearly every episode across 6 seasons. I mean, if there's anyone who could bring an actor out of a hiatus, it's Sheridan. The Madison plot could be super messy. So far, the creators have only shared the cast list, but I think it gives away plenty to piece everything together. We already know that The Madison was earlier called the 2024, which means it's likely set right after the events of Yellowstone. The ranch is no longer the same, and Montana is no longer the hub of the Duttons. A lot has changed, and now, a new family is looking to find a home in what used to be one of the biggest ranches in the U.S. Early reports suggested that The Madison would center around wealthy matriarch Stacy Clyburn as she relocates her family from New York City to Montana after the tragic deaths of her husband and brother-in-law in a plane crash. While this premise laid the foundation for a classic Sheridan-style drama full of grief, legacy, and reinvention, it's unclear if those story details are still part of the final script. If they are, we can start imagining how Matthew Fox's character, Paul, might fit into the story. It seems likely that he could become Stacy's love interest, someone who helps her heal while also confronting his own past. Stacy, seeking peace in the rugged Montana landscape, could find herself at odds with Paul's more traditional views, only to learn from him as she navigates her new life. At first, Paul and Stacy's dynamic could be tense, her modern-day sensibilities clashing with his more grounded, old-fashioned values. But as the story unfolds, it's easy to imagine them finding common ground. Paul could help Stacy reconnect with herself, teaching her to embrace the quiet strength of the land and the simplicity of life outside the chaos of the city. Their evolving relationship could follow the familiar Sheridan trope of two individuals from different worlds, finding unexpected healing in one another. Remember Alexandra and Spencer's unlikely love? How could anyone forget? But there's no Sheridan tale without a big familial conflict. Patrick J. Adams will be playing Stacy's high-powered investment banker son-in-law, Russell McIntosh. The phrase high-powered immediately brings to mind Jamie Dutton from Yellowstone. And if there's one thing I've learned from 1923 Yellowstone and 1883, it's that sometimes the greatest betrayal comes from those closest to you. It's possible we'll see Patrick take on a more antagonistic role for the first time, especially considering the tension between investment bankers and ranchers. However, we still don't know if Stacy even owns land in Montana. If she does, we might see a familiar story unfold, one where the clash between wealth and land takes center stage, just like in Yellowstone. Given Stacy's wealth and status, it's entirely possible that Russell's ambitions could extend beyond just supporting his family. Once Stacy's husband dies, Russell could see an opportunity to secure more power and control, particularly if Stacy owns significant land in Montana. That's one possible angle the Madison could take, but there's also the possibility of a crossover. Will the Duttons be in the Madison? When the Madison was just a mystery project, it was pretty much assumed it would be a direct spin-off of Yellowstone. Everyone thought we'd get more of the Dutton family saga, but clearly, that's not the case. We don't have the full picture yet, though. We know Beth and Rip have packed up and left Montana, but you know who's still holding down the fort? Casey and Thomas Rainwater. We do know that Stacy, a wealthy woman, is coming to Montana from the fast-paced world of New York City to grieve her husband. This setup already creates potential for conflict. Stacy's arrival could spark tension between her and the established figures of Montana, like Casey, who's navigating his own complicated relationship with the land, and Thomas Rainwater, who has his own territorial interests. Stacy might be looking for peace, but her wealth and outsider status could create friction with those who've spent their lives tied to the land. If Stacy inherits the property or gets involved in local land deals, the tension between her modern world and the old-school ranching culture could lead to serious conflict. The Duttons and the Rainwaters never did get along with those who held big office jobs and treated their land like tourist attractions. Even Beth wasn't a fan of that. So Stacy is pretty much a nightmare for the Duttons, especially if her son-in-law Russell is as cunning as I expect him to be. If that's the case, Yellowstone fans might just get a cameo or two from the Duttons, as the family dynamics and land disputes are bound to spill over into the Madison, even if it's not directly tied to them anymore. The Madison is a step in a fresh direction. As a fan of the Yellowstone era when Sheridan started bringing in more powerful female characters, I have to say, it's incredibly refreshing to finally see a female matriarch like Stacy take center stage. Stacy isn't just any woman. She's the backbone of her family, with 2 daughters and a granddaughter who's old enough to ride horses and stir up enough trouble to fill the void left by the fiery Beth. This shift towards a strong, complex female lead in the Madison feels like a natural evolution, especially with the growing demand for more representation of women in the ranching world. So far, most of the side characters introduced in the Madison are women, and I'm genuinely excited to see what kind of plot lines Sheridan has in store for them. There's still a lot we don't know, especially whether the show will focus on the lifestyle we've come to expect from Sheridan's universe. If the Madison truly is a spin-off, though, it's safe to assume we'll be seeing plenty of ranches, land disputes, and all the drama that comes with it. But if not, fans will still have 1923's sequel to look forward to, which may center around Tiana Rainwater or the still-in-production series focusing on Beth and Rip. Either way, the Sheridan universe isn't slowing down anytime soon. What do you think the Madison will bring to the table? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like to show support.